That's the first question. Okay, second question, Japan. Third question, and Iran. Hit submit. Yes, the score is 4 and all of them are correct. Okay, fine. So now you see in the Flash file or in the Animate file, we have 2 keyframes. Where did you go? Okay, so we have 2 keyframes. So the first one has got a title here, which is quiz. Okay, and you can design it in any way you like. And we have one large space here, which is a text box, and we have a smaller space here, which is another text bar, right? So we have a button for submit as well. So this first text box is a dynamic text, okay, which means it will change its content during the runtime, which means we can have the content of this area change depending on our need, right? And you can see the instance name is given as questions underscore text. So you know that, okay, this is the place where we will have the questions showing up. And the second one is called as input text. So when you go to the text options, we have got three options. The first one is static text, second one is dynamic, and the third one is input text. And the input text has an instance name called answers. So now you know that this is where the questions show up, and this is where we need to, or the user needs to give the answers. And then we have a submit button to submit. Okay, so we don't have multiple frames for showing questions, which means that as many numbers of questions that we have, they all are going to show just in this one place. Okay, fine. So the next keyframe we have your answer and correct answer. So based on the answers that are given here, the computer is going to analyze and find out how many answers were correct and how many answers were wrong, and it will show the answer that the user has given here and the correct answer here. So now we have 4 boxes in the left side and 4 boxes in the right side, which means that we have 4 questions, right? So we can give 4 questions here, and they will show one by one once they give the answer and click submit. So at the end, it is also going to show how many of them were correct. Fine. So if I select these boxes, again, you will see that these are all dynamic text boxes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And you can also look at the instance name here. So it says UA0 underscore text, UA1. So UA actually stands for your answer. Okay, and UA2, UA3. So this is the same like the names that we gave for the click and find game. Remember, we started with 0 and then we moved down to whatever is the number, total number minus 1. So if you have 4 buttons, you will have, or 4 options, you will have 3 as the highest number. Now, if you look at the action script here, let me right click on this first keyframe and go to the actions. So we have something called an array. Okay, this is a new data type, right? So array is basically going to store multiple values of the same data type. So that means like we have different strings here. So Russia is one string, Japan is another. Here's another one, anemometer, and Iran. So these are the answers for the question that we are going to give. So when you design your quiz, you have to give your questions and answers in the action script. Okay, so your scene looks very plain, nothing is there, so no text, no questions, no answers. So everything is happening in the action script. So here we have questions 0, 1, 2 and 3, which is basically also going to be an array. So array of questions here, so A questions, which is an array, and it has all these different questions. So this is your first question, this is second question, third question, and fourth question. Okay, so it starts with 0, 1, 2, and 3. and these are the answers. So when you write your assignment, you need to, when you create your assignment, you need to change these questions with your own questions. Okay, so that's the only change that you will have to do here, and the rest of the things will happen based on the instance names that we are giving here. Okay, it's basically going to find out how many questions are there and analyze these questions, and it's going to also save the answers that are being given into this your answer, and then it's going to check between your answer, the correct answer, and if it is the same, then it's going to say it's the same, and it will just add more values to that to find how many of the questions that you have answered correctly. Okay, so if I go to the second frame here, right click, actions, and here this is where actually the comparison happens. Okay, so how many of the questions are correct and how many of them are wrong. So if it is correct, every time a correct answer is being found, it is going to increase the value of n score. So the same n score is going to be finally placed into our score text.txt. So score text.txt would be this box, which has score underscore txt. Fine. So one important thing, when you design your assignment, you need to have some design elements here. Okay, don't just make it with plain white color. Okay, so this is just for demonstration purpose. When you create, you need to have some background colors, you need to have some designs, you need to have some frames, and inside that you should have your text boxes. Fine, so let's try to create the same thing by ourselves. I'll go to File and choose New. Okay, so let's go with the default value and everything else is same. Create. Okay, so we'll start with the first text box. Okay, so let's see, I'll click on this text. So in the top we can write quiz, just like what we see here. I'm going to keep this, or we'll keep it there only, no problem. Okay, so in the top we're going to have a title. Let's say my quiz. Okay, so any name you like. Where is my, it's there. Let me just make this bigger. Okay, and this can be a static text, so I'll make it static. All right, next we're going to create two other text boxes. Text tool. This is for the questions, so it's going to be a, what happened? It's going to be a dynamic text. Click and drag, a larger space here. Okay, now if the space there is not suitable for you, then later you can make it bigger or smaller, adjust it, doesn't matter. Okay, so we also want to make sure that we choose here use device fonts, so that it won't have problems in terms of rendering the font finally. Okay, and we need to give a name to this dynamic text, so let's check here what name is being given, and we'll have to give the same name because that's how the action script is going to pick up. So it's questions underscore txt. I'll copy that, go here, questions underscore txt, that's it. And we have to create the next one. This is going to be an input text. I'll choose T, click and drag. This can be a single line actually, it's okay. This is going to be an input text. Now input texts actually need to be visible, so they basically create a border around it. If it is not, then you can just click on this button to say show border around text. Okay, so we can actually preview it by pressing Ctrl Enter to see how that is finally going to look. For the dynamic text, we can actually ignore that. We don't need to have a border for the dynamic text. So it will just show us a dotted line saying that this is the space where the text is going to be. So if I press Ctrl Enter, there you will see only the question that we're going to type in, and it won't have a border, right? But this one will have a border because this is the space that is going to be empty when we present. So the user needs to know where they're going to click and type the answer. Okay, fine. So we also want to have a button here that is going to be for submit. So I'm going to take a rectangle tool here, click and drag. So I'll right click, convert a symbol. This is going to be a button. We're going to call this submit btn. Hit OK. So I'll go inside, I'll write submit. We can do it in a new layer, or we can do it in the same layer itself. This is going to have a different color. Let's say I choose white. Type here with the center, let's say submit. This has to be a static text. We don't want input inside the button. So select it, bring it inside. Okay. So in the overstate, I'm going to choose insert, and here I will change the color. Let's make it gray. And insert keyframes. So here we are going to make it smaller. So I'll select this guy and I'll make him a bit smaller. I'm going to press the shift key just like that. Okay. Whenever you make this smaller like this for the down state, make sure that it is going towards the center, okay, not towards the side, so that it looks much more natural. Okay, so for hit state, we can actually have just this box copy and insert blank keyframe. Paste, actually I should choose paste in place. Paste in place so it comes in the same place. All right. Let's go back here, and for the submit button and for the input text, we need to give an instance name. So go here, select this guy. This is answers_txt. Copy that and come back here. This is going to be answers_txt. And for submit button, I have submit_btn. Copy that and paste it here as well. Okay, so our first frame is finished. Now we need to move on to the second frame. So in the second frame, we have multiple text boxes, and all of them are going to be dynamic. Okay, so all of them are going to be dynamic. Here, the naming is the most important thing. Okay, so I'm just going to type in here, I'll say insert keyframe. I can actually delete all these guys except probably this top one. So I'll get rid of this, I'll get rid of this, I'll get rid of this one, and we'll keep the question title here. I'm going to move this to the left. I'll make a copy of this, Control D, or I can also press Alt key and click and drag. Okay, so let me place him over here, and this is going to be your answers. Select all, YOUR answers, and this is going to be correct answers. If it became a bit longer, we'll have to make it small, like so. Okay, so next thing that we want is we want to create some dynamic texts. So I'll go to change here as dynamic. Oops. With these texts selected, if I change that, these will become dynamic text. So I need to make sure that I'm not selecting those and making sure that this is dynamic text. I'm going to create, I have to create actually 4 text boxes. So I'll create one here. And we can make it as small as possible, just to make sure that the space is going to be utilized for that. And we want to make sure that use default font is being chosen, and or device font is being chosen, and make sure that you have a border so that we will see where those boxes are. Okay, so I'm going to make a copy of this by pressing Alt key, clicking and dragging. Okay, and one more Alt and one more Alt, so we get 4 of these boxes. I'm going to select all of them and press Alt and move to the other side, to have them arranged nicely like this. Okay, so if you make copy paste or duplicate and you mess up these positions and things like that, you can organize them just by selecting all of them and using the alignment tools here. Okay, so if I go to window menu, we have align, and there we have, I can just align to the left side. So what happens is it takes the last one that is in the left side and aligns everything else based on that. And also I can distribute them. For example, I can just move this down here, and I can make the distance between all of them to be the same. So by selecting all of them, I can choose this vertical distribution here. So if I click on that, you can see that the distance between all of them became the same. And I can also center this one along with these guys just by clicking on that and centering everything to that point. So now I can also, for example, just delete all these guys and select all of them and make a copy of them as well. So if I press Alt key, click and drag, so now you can see that everything just moved to the other side. And I'll just rename this as correct. I'll have to adjust these distance as well. So let's put them in the same distance here. Okay, so finally we also need to have the score, total score. So I'll actually make a copy of this and place him over here. Well, right here, score, or let's say your score. So this is also a static text, but for showing the score, we need to have a dynamic text. So I'm going to copy this one by pressing Alt key and clicking and dragging. We need to make sure that we're in the selection tool. So we get a copy here. Okay, now the instance name that we give for all these dynamic text box is very important. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the action script here. From there also we can find the names. So you can see that here we have UA plus, we have a concatenation here, UA plus I plus underscore text. So UA, I will change from 0 to 3. Okay, so UA 0 underscore txt is the first your answer text box name. Okay, so that's a little confusing. So if it is confusing, what you can do is you can actually go here to this other file and check these names directly. Okay, so if I select this, oops, not this one, okay, this one. So if I select this, you can see, yes, as I said, it is UA0 underscore txt for the first one. Second one is going to be UA1 underscore txt, and the next one is UA2 underscore txt, and so on and so forth. So I'll copy this first one, and we're going to paste, copy and paste the others as well. I'll go here. This is our file. Okay, so give this first instance name here, and for the second one, paste and change this name to 1. Okay, and third one, we are going to go again here, Control V, this is going to be 2, press enter just to make sure, and paste, this is going to be 3. So we have 4 text boxes. All right, and this is going to be CA for correct answer. So I'm just going to paste this. Instead of UA, this is going to be CA. Okay, so CA0 underscore txt. Let's just check here just to make sure. Yes, it's CA0 underscore txt. And the next one is going to be CA01 underscore txt. I'll copy this for the other two. So CA2 and CA3. Okay, so if you don't understand anything, just rewind the video and watch again. Okay, I'll go here Let me just check the score txt name also. This is score underscore txt, simple. So go back here. Okay, so score underscore txt. So I hope that I have given the instance name for all these guys correctly. Okay, let's just check here and make sure that we have names for this. Questions, yes. Answers, yes. Submit button, yes. Okay, so now all I have to do is copy and paste the action script. Okay, so let's create a layer for actions. Okay, and let's see, go back here. And in the first keyframe, I'm just going to press Control A to select everything. Now keep in mind, sometimes when you click and drag like this, you might miss one line of code. Okay, so if you do so, you need to be careful. If you miss that one line, it won't work. Okay, so always better that we press Control A to select everything, copy, then we go back to the other file, and okay, so we're going to paste here. Okay, so let's go to actions here and paste, making sure that from the top to the bottom, everything is there. Okay, now let's go to the second frame, and here as well, let's copy everything, go back here, and frame number 2. Now keep in mind, we don't have a keyframe at frame number 2. Okay, so now if I right click and go to actions, it is actually going to show us the action script of the previous frame. Okay, so here we need to create a new keyframe. Okay, so insert keyframe, so we get a keyframe and we get new action script space. Okay, so let me paste it here. Now in the second frame, we don't have to make any changes, but in the first frame, we need to change the questions and we need to change the answers. Okay, so let me just keep it for now, so you can do that later. I'm going to press Control Enter, and it should show me the first question. Yes, it says that which is the largest country in the world. So the answer is Russia. Okay, now keep in mind, if you give the spelling wrong, like also it won't work, so we need to be careful. So which is the country that has got maximum number of robots? Japan. I'm not sure if that is true, but yeah. This is anemometer. I'm just going to write something here just to make sure that we get one wrong. Okay, and the last one is, which country is known as Persia? Iran, right? I-R-A-N. Now watch here, the text is not in the center. It's having a lot of empty space here, right? So in this case, you can either make the text size bigger, or you can shrink this text bar to be in a smaller size. Okay, and also you'll see there's a lot of empty space here, so you can actually make this questions text box also smaller or make the text size bigger. Okay, so these are all important facts in terms of having your presentation skills. Okay, so having the app showing the space in an optimized way. Okay, so make sure that you do that, and also keep in mind, create some kind of design around this just to show your theme based on the color that you have, based on the design that you have, and things like that. Let's hit submit here. There it is. So my score is 2 because why? It's supposed to be 3. Let's check the spelling. Iran, Iran, Japan, Japan, Russia, Russia, correct? Something went wrong. Okay, anyways, but it counted 2. Okay, so one of that it's supposed to show 3. So finally, after a long search, I figured out something was wrong with this text box. Okay, so the input text box. So I deleted it and created it again, gave the same instance name for it, and now everything works fine. So I just, for testing out, instead of just giving the full name, I just gave ASDF as the answers. So let's just try it out. ASDF. Okay, so yes, so that's the all correct answer, and we get the score of 4. Okay, so just to undo that last thing that I did with the answers, I'm just going to go back to the questions here, the action script here, and I just need to change here. Okay, so let's just test one more time. So I'm going to press Control Enter. So that's the first question. Okay, second question, Java. Third question, and hit submit. Yes, the score is 4 and all of them are correct. Alright, so if you have any questions or doubts, you can write them in the comments below, or you can join our WhatsApp group or Facebook page and ask your questions there. The links are in the description. As always, remember to like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe and check out our website, that is www.reese3d.com, for more tutorials. If you want to learn how to create a shooting game in Flash or Animate, you can click on the right side of the screen. If you want to learn how to create an animated button in Animate or Flash, you can click on the left side of the screen. So see you in another tutorial. Have a great day.